How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore PPF and Tint, and today we are going to be working on the rear quarter panel of a Alfa Romeo 4C. So the other side went okay. I mean, it looked fantastic once it was done, but it was a little bit difficult to install. There's a lot of, a lot of peaks, a lot of valleys, just very interesting, stretch. It was the first time ever doing one, so I was also learning as I went along. So I'm probably going to be learning a little bit on this one as well. So this is either going to be a disaster because I'm filming it, or it's going to go, pretty well like it did yesterday. So, but it is, it is an interesting panel to put paint protection film on. So regardless, it should be a good video for learning how to like stretch and move fingers and where you want them and where, things to look out for. All right, terrific. Well, let's get started. I forgot to put my wheel cover on. When I'm looking at this panel, I can see that this area needs to be tacked down. We're going to not want to put too much tension on this recess here, or if any at all, because it is going to just want to make it lift like this, and then it's going to be terribly difficult if it's lifted to get this to lay down, because the air will come in from here and come in from here. So we need to be careful of that. I've got, there's definitely some fingers going on in here. This type of stuff will all squeegee out. Although this side is going to be interesting though, because it does have the gas cap on this side. And then we need to get rid of these fingers here, which is going to take some stretching as well. All right, I'm just moving it forward a little bit so I make sure to get plenty of coverage down here. And we will also want to make sure that we've got coverage here. So I've kind of got the material on there and then turned a little bit like this. It is a 36-inch roll, and then I think I gave myself about 68 inches wide. All right, so actually the way I want to do this is I'm going to go ahead and tack to this rear bumper. Okay, and then I want this area to have as little stretch in it as possible. So I am gonna go ahead and tack down just to this ridge right here. I'm not 100% sure that this is necessary, but the less tension we can have in here, the better. I am gonna put a relief cut in there. I had to do it on the other side. Okay, and then we'll just let that stuff sit. And let's go ahead and do a stretch forward now. See if we can get rid of her fingers here. Make sure we stay up high enough here that we've got our coverage we need. Okay. So I'm gonna hold this right here, squeegee some of this out. We're gonna leave this for a moment. And so we can get some more stretch down this direction. Let's see if we can get this to tack not only on the face. See if we can get a tack around here. Okay, great. Now let's get this part down. We're going to need to bring it down. We got to get some coverage here, which, I mean, we're barely need a little bit, and it definitely needs a little stretch, so we're in great shape there. Put some tack down here. And then we're going to give it just a little bit of stretch. Squeegee this part out. All right, so while I'm working all this down, I am holding this part down here with my hand in place so it doesn't pop back up. Take this guy down. All right, I'm tucking into that recess in between these two, but we're gonna need to do get some tack in there in order for that to really work. Let's get some tack right here so this doesn't continue to move around and try to pop up. Okay, that should work well. Let's see if we can get some of this to stick down at all. Not really. Okay, this is gonna have to be enough to hold then. All right, we'll come back to that. Let's get this part out here. Okay. The fender is sticking, or the bumper is sticking out just a little bit more than the fender right here. So we're gonna need to tuck that into that recess. Okay, that's looking really good. We're gonna worry about tucking that in later. Let's get this part handled. Let's get some more slip in there. This was easier without this in it, but that's okay. We gotta work with what we got. Okay, let's see what we can do about getting rid of some of this tension with this finger. So it's gonna have to go up a little, but we're gonna need this to stay down. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep the water and air is just gonna continue to flow in there. So let's get that tack back down. So I'm just trying to get right along that ridge, kind of stuck down. Doesn't really want to do it. Let's get some water in there. All right, forget it. Let's start on the other end and then come back this way. That's not wanting to stick. All right, we're gonna need this edge pretty tight here and tack down. I'm just gonna take all these fingers and all the moisture back towards the hang on. Give me a minute. All right. I'm gonna need a little bit of tack in there, but I was trying to bring all the moisture, see how it keeps wanting to run back. Just trying to take it back towards this door, or I'm sorry, the gas door here. So we got a little tack in there now. That should help hold all this down on this edge. I'm gonna do a swipe and hold on it, see if that'll help. Just want to get up to this corner for now. Okay, and let's get some tack in this corner. So the tug is just to get rid of this finger here, going up with it. Okay, and then we're going to get some tack down in here. And what we need is a little bit of tug up to get rid of this finger. And so I'm going to pull up, but at the same time kind of push into this recess here. That'll hopefully help it keep it from a finger from forming right here. So I'm not so worried about going over this edge yet, but we at least want to make it to that edge. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut out a little bit of a circle here or in the middle of this so we can get some tack solution in here and maybe also relieve a little bit of tension on the material. Okay, that should go down real well. Let's get this squeegeed out. We're gonna need some tack in there though. I'm gonna need some more tack in this bottle. Okay. Little spritz on there. Go ahead and bring this into the recess a little bit here so you can see it all flattens out pretty good except for right here where the well, let's see if we can hold that down too, where it recesses for the finger, for your finger to go in to lift the lid open. Okay, so that looks like it stayed down. Let's go ahead and get this out as well. Try not to let those reconnect again. We'll get some more slip in there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try and flatten this out so I can burp this out. This is where I didn't want the tension because it's gonna be just hard to get it to lay down now. It's gonna continue to want to pop up. Let's see here. Okay. All All right, let's try holding it down just like that, although it just keeps wanting to come in right here. That's why I really wanted this part to get stuck down. All right, let's see what we can do with what we've got here now, pushed down. Okay, these ones I'm going to go up with and take out just like that. And then let's get this out to right now. That one's, see, that one will get a little bit of tack in there. That'll be fine. All right, so I'm gonna go back over this. We're kind of getting this to go down, so I'm gonna go back over this and make certain that I did not leave any soap in here or, you know, slip solution. All right, let's get some tack in here. Okay, now that we're back up to here, I'm going to put just a little bit of tug on this, just a little bit. So there was some fingers, so I kind of went that direction and this direction at the same time. So we're just trying to make it up over this lip at this point. Again, double checking for moisture left behind, because the tack solution did run down a little bit, so we want to just make sure that we're not leaving that in there. And we're going to try and get this part over. How's it going?
Okay. I'm going to interrupt here. She can't, my sister can't get those pieces. She's, I thought they were available to be purchased through Dodge. Got to get them from Alpha directly.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, I was wrong. I thought it would be easy to get.
And stay away from them.
Yeah, no breaky.
Make them work.
Yeah.
All right.
Last question for you. Do you know what size gauge wire you ran to your charger? Tesla charger?
No, it's pretty good size, though.
Just match what they have in that box.
All right, so let's get this recess here pushed down in. So I'm kind of just going to push down in here until this moisture is trapped in here, and then I'm going to squeegee this moisture out. And just one swoop would be best. If you could just get that down, it should push it, should squeeze out right here, and then look at that, pop back up on me. One would be best. How about not? Let's try that again. A little bit more tack in there. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that there for a moment and let that start to set up. I am going to give myself a bit more of a relief cut here so I can get some of this tension that I can feel on my fingers off, because we're just barely going to go over this lip here, so it doesn't need to be anything crazy for the you know, the excess here. It's going to be very minimal. A little thing coming up right here. Let's get this guy back down before he leaves a mark or a distortion in the adhesive. All right, I'm going to trim some of this off as well, just to get rid of some of this excess tension. It's not much, but it will help a little bit. All right, so that's staying down, and we're just basically up to just over this edge. Here, we're at this line. And we're going to worry about tucking all that in a moment. Let's get this little guy. You know, it'd be nice actually to, if that could stick right to that part, it would help hold all this in, or this part down with some tension on it. But I'm guessing my thumb isn't going to be enough to, that little tiny spot's not going to be enough to convince that to stay stuck down. But that'd be awesome if it did. Nope. All right. Let's do this then. Let's get rid of a little bit of the tension in here. Okay. All right, we'll come back to this in a moment. This door, everything's staying down really good around this. If I had any problems with stuff popping up, I'd hit them with some rubbing alcohol and then do swipe and hold on them. We can worry about these edges in a moment. All right, so let's get all this down now. Start with some slip in there. All right, we're gonna want both of these to have some pressure on them when we squeegee that out, but we're probably gonna want tack in there. Instead of the slip. Is that going okay, Heather? All right, I'm gonna take this guy here. We're gonna squeegee down into that recess and then out of it. Okay, we've got it kinked over just a little bit here, so we're gonna pop that up. And then we'll, let's see, let's hold that back down. So I'm just holding there, just trying to make sure that that's not going to pop back up. Okay, now let's see what the rest of this looks like. We do need a little bit of tension this way. If that looks like that should lay down real nice, and then that should be good. I think all of this we can kind of just give a little bit of a tug back this way. So let's go ahead and get some tack in here. So I want to just get rid of a little bit of this finger, but I don't really want to put much tension on it. Let's see what we can do about just squeegeeing it out. There we go. Oh, that seems to have brought it back a little bit. Okay, so right about there should be good. All right, let's work our way down into here now. Gonna do a little bit of a relief cut on this. All right, did not get enough pressure on that. Okay. Now let's get some slip in there right away for starters. And then we'll figure out what we need for tack in a moment. All right, so I totally think this is doable without putting a relief cut in here, but I put a relief cut in the other one because I had more tension here. So I have to do a relief cut on this one as well. What's the other thing here? The other thing is that I think that this would be very easy to do if this piece was out, but we're not taking the car apart. Yeah, I think it's doable if you could put some tension on it to trap that edge. But let's go ahead and just put a relief cut on this. Definitely is going to need to match the other side. I'm just going right down where the recess is going to be. And I think something like that should work fine. Okay, let's see. Let's get this part down first. All right, so this goes down, hits a little lip, and then comes this way. And what we're going to be doing is we're not going to keep the material down into that little valley and then back up. We're going to trim it off right at that where it starts to lip up. Let's go ahead and get this to stick down now. Okay. All right, so I went over that edge and then stuck my tool down kind of in between that little grill part and the panel here. Just trying to get everything out, and I'm just holding it in there. See if I can get that edge to set up a little bit on the very edge. We are going to trim right across the top, so everything that you can see visibly here is where the line's going to be. It looks like it wants to just continue to pop up. Okay. See if a little water will make a difference. So I've got it back down in there, but I did leave a little pocket of water right here and air. So let's get that pushed out at the edge. Okay. This one here. And then while I'm holding this in place, just kind of come over here and take another look at this. Let's get some water in that other part. It's just popping up again. Okay, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this back up. We can do that because we didn't put tack in all of this. So pulling it back up right now isn't gonna be a big deal and won't really leave a lift line. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here and then work our way that way. So let's go ahead with some water in this very corner. Let's actually put a new battery in this beast first. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this down and let's get this very corner of this recess taken care of first. That way we know there's as little tension on it as possible, and then we'll squeegee this part out. This part we never put any tack on either, so it's easily popping back up. Okay, let's see if we can relieve a little bit more tension with another relief cut. And then if this doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and just trim along that line. I'm gonna get it to stick down, I'm gonna trim that line, and then we're gonna push it down. While we're here, get a little water right in the edge of that relief cut. Squeegee that out. I'm gonna hold my finger there. Okay, we'll squeegee some more of this down. That is just going to continue to pop right back up. Okay, no problem. So, doesn't want to stay down. Okay, so what's going to fix that now is me just trimming this edge. So I don't want to leave a real corner, a sharp corner there, so I'm going to come across kind of like at a 45. And then just come across the top or the very edge. Oops, it went off the edge. All right, let's see what that does. Have to break loose. We'll just let that sit there for now. So now let's get some tack in there. All right, there we go. Okay, now let's get this one trimmed as well. Did we have that stain down at all? I can't remember. Let's see if we can get it to go down into that recess. Because if it was stuck down, it'd be easier to trim. Okay. Well, now I'm going to just go ahead and trim all the way around this. So that recess is pretty tight, like it goes down and then immediately turns this way, so it's going to trap air. So we're going to definitely want to cut that off. So let's get right to the edge of the material. Wow, look how shaky my hand is. Actually, I'm going to start up here and come down. All right, just be real careful. Make sure this tears on the line that we made and not out into the material that we're leaving on the body of the car. Okay, so we ended right there. Start right there, come up around the corner, and then we're going to come across this just at the very edge. Now, anytime I come to an area with popping up like that, we're either going to try and hold it down, and I'm going to do a little bit of a what I call a sawing motion as I go across those areas that aren't quite stuck down. This one's stuck down enough that it should just be able to get a regular trim, not a sawing motion. Okay. How's that going, Heather?
Good.
You need some help with anything?
I will eventually, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get this all tacky solutioned up. Push that down, and then we'll just kind of come around here. And I'm going to dry this out so we can see what's sticking and what's not sticking. Got a little finger right there. Okay, great. That looks really good. Oh, we're coming up right here. Now this is probably going to leave a little distortion. I should have been paying, nope, we're good. Okay, good. Sometimes these edges, when they come up like this, they'll leave a distortion when you push them back down. This one looks like it's gonna be fine though, fortunately. It's not a lot of tension on it. Yep, no, we're good. Not a lot of tension, so that's good, but those type of corners, you wanna make sure that those don't come up. That's your best bet. All right, now what are we gonna go do? Oh, see, it still doesn't wanna stay down. Let's get water in there. All right, then we're gonna do a swipe and hold. Okay, let's see what do we have here for. Let's just cut some of this out in case there is a little bit of some tension on here. Now this does have a tiny little lip underneath I'm going to wrap to. This customer wants as minimal edges or seams and stuff as possible, so That we'll come back and take care of later. Let's get into this engine compartment. There was some touch-up paint on a tiniest little dot right there, which I think is hilarious. It's got many more bigger problems than that, but the problem with going over touch-up paint is that once you get on top of touch-up paint and the material starts to stick to it, it's going to pull it right up. So there was nothing we can do but get rid of that touch-up paint. Okay, and let's go ahead and get rid of this part down to the body. And then let's go ahead and trim. Well, we said we're doing the engine compartment, didn't we? Didn't I say that? Well, I'm going to trim this other part anyway. Let's move the cameras. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is basically just trim right below the body, just below the roof. And what that's going to do is if I can keep a nice straight line, it's going to be kind of tough through some of this. Let's see if we can just stretch it out a little more and get it a little bit more tight. That will help the line, once it rolls in there, look, you know, nice and straight. Okay. All right, and that will be real good. That went really well. So let's go ahead and get some tack in there and get that pushed down, and then we'll work on inside the trunk area. You know, and use caution in these areas when you're wrapping this in, because it's really hard to get it back out of there if you leave some air, like a pocket, an air pocket or something right here. You're gonna have to use a needle to get it out. There's not gonna be a way to really lift this back out of here once we get this squeegeed in. So it's kind of like first time really needs to go. So I'm just chomping this down. Great, now we're to the engine compartment. Make sure we didn't leave anything on the face here. Okay. Okay. Well, I hope this video is helpful. I kind of feel like I'm getting my butt kicked. This is taking forever, and you know, I kind of feel like I'm not, you know, you guys watch me like figure this out. You know, is that helpful to you, or should I only be, you know, I guess I shouldn't only be showing stuff that I know how to do already really well. You're kind of watching me figure it out is all I'm saying. You find that helpful? Is that beneficial? See if we can bump that edge in there. Okay, now let's cut this off here. So first thing we're gonna do is pull this back. We're gonna get some tack solution in here, which I'm really running out of. You think I'd refill those right before I started a video, but but I don't always do that. So much stuff to try to remember. This camera needs batteries. Oh, this has got to go, you know, there's just a lot. Okay. All right. So this black here is actually like a sticker, I think, of some sorts that's actually put onto the paint. And so we need to cut below that. And so right here, I'm going to bring this out. Doesn't need to be right up against the black on that part. We just want, once we get here though, we're gonna try and keep it right along the black. And I actually am leaving a gap here, less than 1/8 of an inch up against that black part. Okay, and then once I get out here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut all the way through, and that gives me a great spot to tear from. Okay, now let's get some more tack in there. And what did we just use tack? Didn't stick that great, did it? Let's just use water. We would have thought that would have stuck down a little better. Run out of water too. I'm just pumping. Double checking this area here, making sure that's not trying to come up. Had some water on the outside. It made it look like it was kind of popping up. Okay, let's squeegee all this out now, and then we'll bump this edge. Okay, that looks great. Now let's get the engine compartment. Then we'll come back and kind of mess around in here. This has still got some moisture in it. Otherwise we'd be able to just wrap that right now, but there's some moisture in there. See, and if you look, there's touch-up paint here and here. So once that goes down, that's it. Like once you get that to stick down, you're done with that area, because if you pull that back up, you'll take that touch-up paint right off with it. Okay, yeah, engine compartment. And this, I'm just going to go with straight water. I'd have to guess at this point there's little to no slip solution in that area still. So we're going to be nice, should be nice and tacky. And I'm just going to go ahead and work my way over. Since we already went over this edge, we know that we've got a good edge, but we'll just double check it anyway. Okay, and then we'll take it right off the edge. Okay, and we've got some fingers popping back up, and that's going to just continue to happen. That's a sharp edge right there. So to fix that, we're going to go ahead and trim this material off. I am going to come up about 1/8 of an inch or so, and actually let's start this way and do that same thing where we go off the edge and tear, or I mean go all the way through, so that we got a nice line to tear from. And we're going to start at that line and then work our way up here towards the front of the vehicle. So I'm kind of just pulling the material, laying it back down so I get a nice smooth cut, and that keeps me from having to do kind of that saw motion over the top of these fingers. You're not trying to give it a lot of pull, just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to stop right there. And let's see if we can tear all the way to where the blade is. Great. And then we'll come back this direction now. Left-handed. Don't forget to practice with your left hand. If you're just starting out. Okay, great. All right, we'll bump that edge. All right, so all this is looking really good. Let's see, is that's staying down? Just double check it. Yep, okay. All right, let's go ahead and get this to all stick down now. And I think what I want to go ahead and do is just trim that edge, and then that should help it stay stuck down. Let's get some warm water in this. Let's get this back over the edge. Let's see if we can work in here together. And actually, I'm just going to put some soap on it, some slip, so I can push it down, trim it, and then we'll get it to stick down. Okay, then we'll bring it down here. Just kind of laying it flat on the car to help me know where to cut. That way we only have to do it once. We don't leave any hanging over, and we don't undercut. Okay. Push all this down. So if you can push that down with your finger and hold it down, there's some tension there, and that'll help keep this from just popping right back up, although it's doing it anyway. Let's go ahead. Here, just get some of that moisture out. But it was popped up, so we don't want to just leave it at that. We do want to come back and hit it with our squeegee, because pushing out with a towel is not going to guarantee that you got all of the slip out. I'm trying to get some good pressure on that area with the touch-up paint on it. It's got a little air pocket stuck in it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get that out or not. Not really. It's got like a divot in the touch-up paint. And then this one, unfortunately, was right on the edge. But, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's touch-up paint. So we'll go ahead and, when I put some heat on that, hopefully that'll help that hide a little bit more with the heat sealing. See, we've got a little bit of space to run in there, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this right here across, and then we're going to work our way out away from the panel. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And that was just because that corner, there's no way that's going to wrap and hold. It's just going to be a bunch of bunched up material. So then let's go ahead and do a trim here. Get a little less blade out there so we don't bump back here. Okay. Just gonna go and wrap this in right now. All right, so let's do a little bit of trimming together, huh? This here I'm going to leave about less than 1/4 inch hanging over. And then that'll be able to wrap right around and contour into this. Just want to make sure however much you're leaving, it's not going to hang over any edges. We don't have to go back and trim edges. Like right here, it gets a little bit more shallow and then it's deeper right here. So just pay attention where you're trimming. First going to wrap these corners in here. Then I'm going to get this middle part here. Still got some moisture in there, so not all this is going to go down. Let's see if we can get it to go down. There we go. Perfect. That looks great. Okay. And so on this part, I'm going to go ahead and come straight up on the body. Then I'm going to turn come out towards me a little bit. Let's go ahead and just run our finger across this. It'll come up just a little bit on that very edge. So I want to make sure and not leave a silver line on that edge. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and peel this, tear this back to where we have trimmed to. And there's like not much there to go to. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this back even further. Okay, to right in here now, there is a tiny bit back there that I can attach to. This might be ridiculous too. This might be kind of silly to attach to this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. I did the other side, so we're just going to leave a little bit hanging over. Okay. I meant to stop right there at the edge and give myself that nice little part to tear from. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna just let this sit and hang and dry some more, and then I'll come back with the glove and wrap that in. We'll go ahead, let's snap off a new blade. I'm just trimming right along the edge here. Keep kind of lifting the blade up the backside here so I can make sure that I'm following a good line. Now I'm gonna go look from underneath. That'll give me a better view. Beauty. And dry that edge out. All right, and then when I put some heat on this, it'll actually wrap around that edge just the tiniest amount and stick down. So it's definitely, you can see some silver left that needs a little bit of heat to stick down. No problem, worry about that later. All right, so back up here, there's a tiniest a bit again. I don't know, it's not even a 1/4 inch for this material to go and stick to. So we're gonna go ahead and leave a little bit of excess. I did make sure to clean that really well in there with some rubbing alcohol, just straight rubbing alcohol. And I just gave it a really good scrub in there. And then right here, I'm going to come over to the panel, and then I'll give us a good place to go ahead and go straight across. Oop, slipped off my line. Oh, didn't cut through enough. I think I did though. I think I was giving enough pressure. Squeaking. Let's try coming back this way again. Okay, there. Oh, I pulled it up just a little bit. That's a bummer. Let's get this laid back down. Fortunately, that area didn't have much tension on it, so it didn't really leave a line there, but that's definitely not the way we wanted that to go. This opens up the doors for too many problems. Okay, looks like I went to about right there. Swipe that edge down. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and trim this part. I got a decent amount we can wrap over here, so I'm going to go ahead and leave almost a 1/4 inch. There's a lot of blades sticking out. Okay. Getting a little wavy there. We want to keep this as straight as possible. Okay. I always come back and retrim it later after it's pushed down too. It's just nice if you can, you know, get a nice clean straight edge while you're trimming it. All right, so we're just chomping this down. Okay, that looks fantastic. All right, terrific. Well, that's the whole process of installing paint protection film on this quarter panel. All I'm gonna have left to do here is put a little bit of heat on this edge and wrap it underneath and go around and heat seal all of the edges, and then we'll be all done with this one. Terrific. Well, I appreciate you taking a look. If you found anything useful or helpful, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.